People on live stream. Should I tell Robert we're going to get started?
That's a very rocky place.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. May I have everyone's attention, please? It's so nice to hear everybody chatting and catching up and so many nice stories. I assure you, you will get more time after this to do that. If everybody can try and get comfortable, there's a bunch of empty seats here. Yeah, make sure you can see. We're going to get started. It won't be too long, so if you're standing, it should be okay. But if you'd like to take a seat, there are some seats around. Let me say good afternoon. Welcome. Welcome, family and friends, as we gather together today in loving memory of Susan Barbara Willmott, known to most as Sue, a woman whose vibrant spirit, radiant smile, and red hair left a lasting mark on every person she touched. We're going to start by reading Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd. I have all that I need. He lets me rest in green meadows. He leads me beside peaceful streams. He renews my strength. He guides me along right paths, bringing honor to his name. And even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will not be afraid, for you are close beside me. Your rod and your staff protect me and comfort me. You prepare a feast for me in the presence of my enemies. You honor me by anointing my head with oil, and my cup overflows with blessing. Surely your goodness and unfailing love will pursue me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Born on November 14th, 1959 in Toronto, Ontario, Susan was one of 5 siblings. Raised in the heart of North Toronto by Dr. Grant and Barbara Bird, alongside Diana, Grant, David, and Ian, she carved her path with energy and imagination. She attended York Mills Collegiate and later the University of Guelph, setting the foundation for a life rich in curiosity and connection. Sue's journey took an unexpected turn one day while working at McDonald's. She met Robert, the man who would become her husband and father of her children. They hit it off and married in 1985. Though ultimately the marriage ended, their bond remained steady, a partnership by mutual respect and unwavering love for their family. Together they raised 3 incredible children, Brian, Shannon, and Kelly, first in Oakville, and then in 2002 they moved to Edmonton. Sue poured herself into motherhood with creativity and passion, never missing a moment to help her children shine, whether through imaginative play, tender encouragement, or simply being present. She brought joy, stability, and warmth to their lives. Her children remember her animated storytelling, her contagious laugh, and her deep ability to see each of them for who they truly were. Cottaging was another story her kids shared with me. Sue would take the kids to a cottage some summers with visits from Grandma and Grandpa, and the simple togetherness of family. These are cherished memories. Professionally, Sue, while working at McDonald's, set her target on the financial sector. She was laser focused and got her dream job as a broker. Then from the financial sector into a cherished role as a homemaker, she never stopped engaging the world. After her spending many years raising her kids, she found a new love for golf, working proudly with the Royal Canadian Golf Association at Glen Abbey. I was told she had a long lineup of friends who were wanting to join her for twilight golf at the esteemed Glen Abbey Golf Course. Much of her time was split between Ontario and Alberta, and her legacy stretches across both landscapes, rooted in the hearts of those who knew her and loved her. The family had a funeral service in Edmonton and had the burial this morning. Today's reception is a time for remembering and celebrating the life of Susan. So at this time, we're going to open it up to some family and friends to say a few words. First, I'd like to introduce Barb Shepherd, a childhood friend. Barb?
Hi. So, my family moved to Hogs Hollow, the Valley, in 1965. And I think Diana and Susan and your mom came over and introduced yourselves. And it was, we all became the best friends, and my sister and Diana were roommates. And it was just a remarkable time. And oh my God, so many memories. In grade 6, can you believe this? In grade 6, our teacher, Mr. Maywood, took 4 boys and 4 girls in a van with his wife Pauline and his dog Frank. And we like camped and hiked, and we would never do this again. It was great, but our parents are like, goodbye. It was pretty funny. And of course, Susan's giggle would literally shake our tent every night. And when we were older, we spent hours in the basement listening to Grant's incredible record collection. And we managed to convince our parents to go to Massey Hall with no chaperones all the time. One time, Anne, Avery, and Bert and I snuck in to see Chicago. The Hell Riders were doing it at CME, and we went into the bathroom and hid for 2 hours. And then the ladies who ran the soda stand came in and went, "You guys," and I started crying, and they let us in. So Diana and David, Rob, Brian, Shannon, Kelly, and your wonderful life partners and children, my great love to you for the loss and grief of Susan, Barbara, Willmott, Sue, Susie, Bird, Birdie. I wrote a little poem, because we love to do poems, that is our childhood. I was 6 when my family moved to Hogs Hollow and met the Bird family that we did faithfully follow. I became best of friends with our one-of-a-kind Sue, and for decades our friendship and adventures, they grew. Your laugh was your trademark, it took over a room. It would bounce off the walls with the most epic boom. My dad once said, without skipping a beat, "I want Susie Bird's laugh when I take my last seat." You were Bird, and your friendship was so fiercely true. When I was called Stork, your protection, it grew. You watched over us all like a mother hawk might, with a quick wit, sharp claws, and a heart full of light. Epic roast beef Sundays that your mom would create. Oh my God, Yorkshire puddings that I ate and I ate. We played cards with your dad. We cheated. We won. Then we played kick the can until down went the sun. Camp Gay Venture was epic, and so were the bugs. Canoe trips and campfires and spraying off between hugs. We loved loon calls and thunderstorms and guitar songs at night. Those years round the campfire still shine so bright. We so lived for music, dancing hands in the air. We danced till we dropped, but we didn't care. Billy Joel, ELO, and Supertramp 2. We all headbanged in harmony, like best friends will do. And the Bond days, our pals, our circle of force. Oh, the dancing and antics and dock time, of course. There were great late night chats and wine-fueled debates, and enough wild banquets to confuse even the fates. Tribulations and trials and laughter and tears. We all had each other to turn doubts into cheers. A sisterhood bond that stays forever strong. With you, Bertie, always part of our lifelong song. I could still feel your spirit, so fierce and so bright, and your laugh that could squeeze even sorrow to light. When I hear a loon call or a chuckle from above, I know that it's you, sending all of us love.
Thanks, Barb. That was beautiful. Next, I'd like to invite up Barb Allen. Apparently, Sue was keen on having friends named Barb. Yes. There you go.
Hello, I'm Barbara Allen. So I had the pleasure of meeting Susan Bird after this whole other area. I lived on the other side of Bayview and went to a different feeder school. So after grade 9, going to Art Mills, we had a first period class, and I remember seeing this girl who was laughing, had this red hair. I thought, I want to be her friend. And she became one of my best friends. Anyway, from there, when I met a lot of the women that are here, we call each other Bondi Pals, which means happiness and enjoying life. And we've been together 51 years. So it's a long longevity of activities. Before Bird left, I just want to pick up a couple of stories because Susan and I loved being up north. My parents had a cottage. Her parents had, and they rented up there, and that's where we had this girls' weekend every weekend after Labor Day. And we'd be, eating, and we always were dancing. That was the whole thing. But we had, in the top of this old cottage, it was a tin room where all the blankets and everything would be put for the mice in the winter. I don't know why Susan and I liked the tin room, but every weekend there was, or is it tin room time? And we'd go in there and sit on these blankets and just talk about everything that you hadn't said to everybody else, or just catch up what you're doing. And that continued when she moved out. So I get these texts, it's tin room time, call me tomorrow. Anyway, we had a lot of fun doing that, but we had nicknames, and Bird's was Birdie, mine was Pruner. And I had a Tiger Beat magazine that said, I had a date, this guy I fell in love with, he's grade 11, no, he was in grade 12, I guess it was in grade 10. And it said, how to practice kissing. It said, Tiger Beat, right? Prune. And I was like, Bird, I gotta see this article. Like, come on over, do you want to sleep over tonight? We're in the garage with this mirror. It was so lame. Anyway, prune. And then Bird kept going, I don't know. I think it's a teen magazine. Unfortunately, I didn't buy a Cosmopolitan. How do you say it? Cosmo magazine. Cosmo. Anyway, they would have said owl. Anyway, she said from that night, your name is Pruner. And it's funny because Sue Bird and Mary Trimner are the only people to this day that whenever they talk to me, it's like Pruner. But I think she really liked just chopping it in. And when we talked about how was the date, and she said to her, well, it was okay. Yeah, you're right. Prune is not the right thing to say. Anyway, we had such a good time as a group, and I think, we had a picture of Bird, and we have some other friends that have sort of left our Bondi Pal group and moved out, but we would always have pictures of them whenever we had a celebration or a banquet dinner, or again, there was a call, but Susan will be always be, and with all of us, and I guess we had so many wild adventures that were fun, like 15 to being in your 60s. They'll never be forgotten, or would I want them to be forgotten. She's one of my dearest friends because she believed in me, supported me, listened to me, and celebrated my greatness and growing up, even though we didn't get there. Anyway, we're all very blessed. Thank you.
So now I'll bring up our final speaker, unless there's anybody else named Barb. So we're going to bring up the daughter, Shannon.
I'm going to have to adjust this. Okay. My mom was an absolute force of nature. She had orange-red hair, a laugh that you could recognize anywhere, and a willingness to belt out Shania Twain in her decidedly average singing voice. And a warmth that I will deeply miss. She was a wonderful storyteller. I wish that we didn't have to gather today to remember her life, but I also wish that she was here to tell these stories, because without a doubt, she would have been able to deliver them perfectly. She'd have us all in tears and laughing at the same time, acknowledging the wound that her loss has left us with, like touching the edge and allowing it to sting a little, and then delivering a perfect punchline like a salve. She showed me what it is to love, what it is to hurt, and she taught me what it is to be profoundly human. Like all of us, she was a complicated person, and she faced struggles that at times created distance between us. But reflecting on her life, they didn't define her, and they didn't define our relationship. I wish that I could tell her that even in the darkest moments, I'm so proud of her fortitude. I admire her resilience and her ability to get up and try again, which I understand wasn't always easy. Today, I am choosing to remember her unburdened, the soul full of light and warmth that we all knew so well, her most authentic self. She was, as you heard, a fiercely loyal friend, a loving sister, and a daughter. She was good at many things, but she was really good at being a mother. My mother and my baby spent just over 4 months on this earth together, and for that I am so grateful. I know without a shadow of a doubt that her children and grandchildren were her greatest joy and her reason for being. Talking with her about my baby, the things he was doing, the things he wasn't, like sleeping, for example, gave me a little window into her own experience of motherhood, a window that I'll cherish, but I wish I had had more time to throw open and look through. As a new mother, I spent a lot of time reflecting on my own childhood recently, and many of my memories from the earliest years are not clear and take the form of feelings or ideas. Things like warmth, comfort, safety, love. And when I think about the kind of mother that I want to be and the kind of childhood that I want my baby to grow into, my hazy early memories paint a vibrant picture of a role model that I will always love and admire. I find myself mimicking specific actions of hers, singing songs she used to sing in my own probably less than average singing voice, tracing my baby's face the way she used to trace mine. But it's not just the actions themselves that made her such a special mother. Learning to water ski, we were young children, terrified of the cold, dark water, the pull of the boat, and of course falling. She would get right in the water with us. She'd help us get in the right position, her arms reaching around us to hold up the skis for us, reciting, "Knees bent, arms straight, lean back and let the boat do the work." She'd get us up on those skis and then wait patiently, treading water by herself until we fell and the boat drove around to pick us, and then her up. I think generally this was her approach to parenthood. Get right in the metaphorical water with us, set us up for success, watch us fly, and be there to support us in trying again if we fell. She had this way of bringing magic to the most routine tasks. Like, for example, she used to set up Christmas shopping in her room every year. She would buy all the gifts, she would split her bed up into 4 quadrants, and each quadrant would be filled with the gifts she purchased and thoughtfully picked out for each of us. One for Dad, one for Kelly, one for Brian, one for me. A blanket would go over the whole thing. We would each get a turn to come in and shop for the rest of the family. She would uncover each quadrant in turn, always carefully keeping your own gifts covered. And then she'd sit with us on the floor drinking hot chocolate and helping us wrap our present gifts for our family.
Wow.
Reflecting on this as an adult and a parent, I realized that the magic she childhood wasn't magic at all. It was the product of creativity and imagination, a lot of hard work, endless energy, and a ton of love. I am who I am because she went about bringing us up with intention. The memories that glow so bright for me are there because of her, because of the amount of time and thought she put into shaping our childhoods, the consistency and energy with which she showed up over and over, driving me to skating at 5 a.m., 45-minute treks up to the barn for Kelly's riding lessons, helping us with our spelling tests, although through no fault of her own, she was much more helpful for the English ones than the German ones. She was always helping us edit English essays, talking through a skating routine with me, Even just her ability to juggle the schedules of 3 busy children, making it seem effortless. Sure, she was always running slightly late, but only because she was accomplishing the Herculean task of fitting 28 hours of life into a 24-hour day. Her capacity to do it all was truly remarkable. I struggle to close this because I'm not ready to say goodbye. A part of me still waits to hear, "Oh, hi, Shaz," through the phone, keeps picturing her meeting little Cam, wishing for another Christmas with everyone together. I hope that she's at peace, that she knows how much she was loved and how deeply she will be missed. And as I walk through this season of sadness, I'm also filled with gratitude. It is because of how she raised Kelly and I that we've been able to hold both the joy of new motherhood and the pain of this loss at once in our hearts. And I'm so thankful that of all the mothers Brian, Kelly, and I could have had, she was ours. As the frame that hung next to her bed said, "If mothers were flowers, I would pick you. I would pick you every single time." I love you, Mom.
Wow, what a beautiful speech. Today, we may not understand. We may be feeling a mix of feelings, sadness and grief, and memories of happiness and joy. And even though we celebrate the memories of who she was, we miss her. It's good to remember her in your stories, just as we've heard, and as you talk with one another. Her legacy lives on in you. So the next time you're at a cottage, think of her. Next time you're water skiing or even thinking of kissing techniques, think of her.
Or call me.
Next time you see a little birdie, think of her. Her legacy lives on as we talk about her and we remember and we celebrate. So I close today with a quote from the great philosopher Winnie the Pooh. "If there ever comes a day when we can't be there together, keep me in your heart and I'll stay there forever." We close, we're going to say the Lord's Prayer. For those who are comfortable, I encourage you to say it with me, and if you're not, that's okay too. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the power and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Friends, I encourage you today to hang around, enjoy, and please take some time and check out the amazing pictures in the slideshow the families put together. Thank you. Thanks for sharing. That's so good to hear.
Yeah.
It's always so nice when people get up and share.
Oh, yeah.